Folks, welcome back to part 2 of the cabin build here in Western Kentucky. As you saw in the last video, we put in most of the drain lines and stuff up underneath here, and today we're going to be going up top and we're going to be putting together the sinks. So let's go. All right, we're in the bathroom lavatory. This is the line and the toilet's underneath that piece of wood that we saw me put the flange down in. We're going to put up the assembly for the drain, but it is not a pop-up. The customer doesn't want one, so it's just going to be a regular open drain like that. Let's go ahead and put this together with the under part of the basin. Plumber's putty, and we'll put it around the bottom lip ring like so, and then we'll drop it down from up top. I've got the putty just like that. All right, drop it down through there. And we've got a little rubber gasket that will end up to the top with our nut. We'll get it started, catch those threads, and we'll be in good shape. There she goes. Okay, so we got the lavatory in. There's not going to be a pop-up here. The customer does not want one. So on the bottom end, it's our line, our 1.5 inch line. We're going to go ahead and we're going to cut this back. We're going to put 1.5 inch sanitary tee. One's going to pick up for the P-trap, and then we're extend it up so we can put pro vent in here, and that's going to vent this as well as the toilet. Let's get this P-trap open. Get all the contents out of the bag. 1.5 inch poly P-trap. Well, now we end up having to pick these parts up at Lowe's, and unfortunately they didn't carry any kind of P-traps that had the good trap adapters. These are the glue type, and I don't like them because once they're glued they can't be adjusted and you have to cut the whole thing out of there. So we had to purchase a regular trap adapter. You could put a compression ring on there with a ferrule, and that's what's going to be glued onto that. But first place, we're going to put the P-trap together, figure out what our height is, try to keep it kind of low. We've got an extension tube sitting here as well. And then we'll glue our T in and we'll establish ourselves for our vent. All right, now we found our length that we need for our drop pipe going down underneath, and we're going to glue our 1.5 inch sanitary tee at the correct angle in order to pick up the P-trap. There she is right there. Nice. And we'll glue our trap adapter on here now, like so. Looks good. Now we have to extend that up with another piece of 1.5 inch pipe. Put our threaded end at the very top where we can screw our pro vent into place. All right, this is what our pro vent looks like. It's been screwed in there. Use some Teflon tape. The bottom is going to be glued to this extension piece of 1.5 inch PVC Schedule 40 pipe and go on the top end of our 1.5 inch sanitary tee. This is going to vent this part of the bathroom, just like that. See? There we go. See, there's the vent way up there. We keep it above flood zone. And that's what we're looking at. We should put an extension tube on the end of our drop for our drain assembly and put P-trap in. And there we have it. Drain assembly put together down into our trap. It's kind of tricky, into an 1.5 inch sanitary tee and up to our pro vent. And that's what it looks like overall. And while we're still in the bathroom, let's take a look how the shower came out with the drain and stuff. That looks great. You saw me put it together in the last video with the trap, and going out the wall right out there is where we're going to have an external vent just for this shower, and it's going to help out with the rest of the system as well. We have that little top hat ferrule right there. We have a flat tail extension piece which we're gonna end up putting that ferrule right there and slip this nut in like that. Sweet, just like butter, nice and snug, nothing goes anywhere, just like that. Alright, so we got our 1.5" sanitary tee in there. We glued a trap adapter into place. And we're going to have to do the same thing and sneak that P-trap in there, and then we'll install a Pro Vent. Alright, here goes the P-trap on this. Slide it into place. Bring this up to the bottom. Nice and easy. Tricky business here. There we go. P-trap is in place, as you can see. Now it's time to extend it up and put our final Pro Vent in here. We'll take our little Pro Vent here, or Studa vent, whatever you want to call it. We're just going to put a thin layer of Teflon tape on it, no pipe dope, just so it seals in there and we don't get any septic gas that comes into the kitchen. And we're just going to screw it into the female adapter, 1.5" that it came with. Careful, don't cross thread nothing. Hand tight only. And the kitchen is put together just like that. Our P-trap, 1.5" sanitary, up to our Pro Vent. And it just gets by the sink. It's still far up enough and out enough where when that thing needs to be replaced, you just unscrew it by hand and replace it. All right, that's where we're putting the clean out. We're right outside the kitchen where we just came from. Let's go ahead and get some clear primer on that. Nice and easy. And there is our clean out top. Sorry about that. Right there. It's hard to do one-handed. Get some cleaner on top of that. Here in the area where we're at, actually I live, there's a lot of RVs and campers that are put and built with little cabin areas and covers over top of them. And that's what this used to be. He ended up pulling his camper out, which he's staying in, I'll show you, and he's turned it into a cabin. And he stays in his RV that used to sit inside of that before he closed it in. So now he has somewhere to stay while he completes his cabin for winter. In my case, this is another neighbor that's right next to me. They've got a travel trailer and they've got a metal covering over it, just like mine, as you can see over in the trees. And this is where I live, and I bought this property about a year ago and just moved up here in April. And eventually I'm going to be pulling that out and closing this whole thing in. We're going to be building a cabin inside of there. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to extend this line up to the vent, strap it to the wall. It's going to go up below that light to the right of it a little bit. So, all right, we got our level ready to go. I'm going to glue our sweep 90. This is 2" that's on here. All right, glue one end down, and while we have the level ready, we'll set this in place. Make sure that we're nice and level.
Oh, we gotta go in all the way.
And we have a level fitting right there. Looks good to me. Now we'll
looks good to me.
Prep and get our 2" standpipe and try to finish this off. Right, before we raise this exterior vent, the homeowner has asked for me to put a regular 45 and a street 45 that way at the top like this. And after it's all said and done, he's going to put a screen over this to make sure no critters or anything get in there. We don't want no sharp bends or anything and break our our vent system and stuff. So we're going to glue this together, glue it on a piece of pipe that we already cut, and then set it into place. Time to raise the vent. Need to put those 45s on there, and we got it so the writing that's on the pipe will be hidden to the back where you're not going to be watching it. There goes nothing.
That looks good.
All right.
Just come over. There we go.
That looks nice and straight. Got the bracket put on up top. Gonna put some mesh up in that hole.
A little paint.
Do a little paint, a little caulking around the holes and stuff, and we got ourselves a nice exterior vent. Time of truth, we're in the kitchen area. We're gonna turn our shutoff valves on and put some water in this basin to see how everything works. There we go, we're under pressure. Not seeing any leaks so far. Let's fill the basin. Move the aerator temporarily so we don't have any debris clog it up. Hot and cold. Got the kitchen basin filled about halfway. We're going to give about 5 minutes for a head pressure test. Make sure that the seal on that strainer basket isn't leaking from up underneath. All right, let's pull the drain and see what happens. Well, that baby's going down. Yeah. Look at that. So you got any leaks underneath? Ooh, we looking good. Did you see that? And we had a tornado going. That thing is screaming down through there. Great drain system, no leaks or anything on the kitchen. We're in here in the bathroom where the lavatory is, and we're going to do the same thing. Is water turned on?
As far as I know, it is
Cold and the hot. And we'll get that aerator off so we don't get no debris caught in. All right, let's pull the plug, see what happens. Wow, look how fast that thing drained. Don't see any kind of leaks happening. Everything looks good, exactly the way it needs to be. Now we're not doing anything with the toilet right now, which is the flange is underneath this piece of wood, because the homeowner has still got to finish up the floors in here before they set the toilet. And if there's a problem at that point, I'll come back and we'll take care of it. All right, here goes the shower. That looks good. I like it. That's going to wrap it up for this series of the cabin build here in Western Kentucky. It was interesting. I was honored to be able to go over and work on that. I know some of you guys out there got lots of comments on how you would have done it differently, but the customer bought all the stuff, and actually I donated my time to him. He's a military veteran, and I know that when the time comes and I'm ready to build my cabin, he'll be right there to help me out as well. Got any comments, questions, leave them down below, and don't forget to keep plumbing.